happens.
When the struggling New York Knicks won the 1985 draft lottery, there was little doubt as to which player they would select.
Basketball is back in New York City, my friend.
And it didn't take long for Ewing to make an impact, winning the Rookie of the Year award while emerging as the team's franchise player.
Incredible! Whenever you do something, you always want to be one of the greatest.
An 11-time All-Star who was named one of the NBA's 50 greatest players, Ewing was selected to play alongside the game's all-time greats on the original Dream Team. In 1994, he led the Knicks to the finals, only to fall short to Hakeem Olajuwon and the Rockets. The Knicks returned to the finals in '99, but an aging Ewing could only watch from the sideline due to injury. Ewing and the Knicks parted company in 2000, and though he was unable to deliver a championship to New York, Patrick returned home in 2003 to see his jersey lifted to the rafters.
Always will be a Knick, always will be a New York. Thank you very much.
This week, it's Patrick Ewing on Overtime.
In the long run, I'll be able to handle myself man-to-man with almost anyone in the league.
And the Celtics, they have done it again. A spectacular finish.
He was the ABA. He revitalized the NBA.
Presses the inner button in the heart and takes it up.
This man has a smile that lights up a television screen from here to Bangor.
There will never, ever, ever be another Larry Bird.
Michael will take it. He's fouled. He scores. Oh, my Michael with his fifth.
Shaq the man, most dominant player in the world.
Hello, everybody. I'm Mark Morgan. For 15 years, he was the center of attention in New York basketball. Patrick Ewing made the Knicks championship contenders, and though he never did win the title, he accomplished just about everything else, becoming one of the greatest centers in NBA history. Today on Overtime, we'll hear from Patrick at various stages of his career. Back at Georgetown, his great defense drew comparisons to Bill Russell, so it was only fitting that he spoke with Russell himself during Patrick's rookie year, 1986. And just to keep that 80s feel, see if you can recognize the music from one of the decade's top rock stars.
I know you say you go out there and play the best you can.
Right.
Did you set any goals for yourself the first year?
Well, I wanted to make the All-Star team, which I did. And I also wanted to do the best that I possibly can to help the Knicks to win. And I think that when I'm in there, the team is a lot better than when I'm not there. I guess it is my job to do that.
Now, what would you have to change? Do you think you'd have to change to say, make a 5-game difference? What would you personally have to change?
In my game?
Yeah.
I could rebound a lot better than I am right now. Clog up the middle a lot better. There's still a lot of things that I feel I need to improve on.
There are a lot of people that hear all kinds of things about your relationship with John Thompson.
Right.
And he's a dear friend of mine, so I know what kind of guy he is. A lot of people thought that he tried to control you while you're in college.
No, not really. That's not Coach Thompson. He doesn't try to control his players. He just tried to teach them and let them learn and grow. I felt that's what he did. He allowed me and gave me the time for me to mature and to grow into the person that I am today.
In college, you had a reputation as a defensive and team player. And now everyone's surprised at how well you play offense. You expected that, though, didn't you?
I always knew I could score. When I was at Georgetown, my role was to play defense, block shot, and then it was to score. Here, I have to do both. I have to play defense, block shot, and score at the same time. So, and I always knew that I could do it, but in college, there wasn't really any need for me to score a lot of points because I had other people to do it.
How did it feel in your junior year when you finally won that big game?
It felt great. When you reach a goal that you've set up for yourself, when you've achieved that goal, it makes you feel very proud, and we've definitely felt proud. We felt very proud that we have achieved the goal that we had set out at the beginning of the year. I was hoping we could have won another one.
You're gonna run. You see, you keep getting those rings and stuff. You run out of fingers.
Well, I hope to be like you. I have one for every finger.
Okay, now, as you reach the middle of your first year, if you could decide what your reputation is going to be at the end of your career, what would it be?
Hopefully I'll be one of the greatest. You know, whenever you do something, you always want to be one of the greatest or the greatest. And I would like to be one of the greatest.
Well, I think you're off to a good start.
I hope I can sustain it.
You will.
After winning 2 NBA titles in the early 70s, the New York Knicks went through some lean years. And in 1985, they missed the playoffs altogether, winning just 24 games. But there was a silver lining to that gloomy season. The Knicks would be one of the teams in the NBA's first ever draft lottery. And as we see in this feature from 1994, the grand prize was Georgetown center Patrick Ewing.
Ewing's stellar career had made him college basketball's most celebrated player. Now he would find himself heralded as the NBA's biggest new star. 7 teams had qualified to participate in the draft lottery for his rights, and each dreamed of Patrick as their new savior.
The number 1 pick in the draft will certainly be Patrick Ewing, the 3-time All-America out of Georgetown.
You know, I wanted to go to New York. New York was my first choice.
And as each successive pick unfolded, Ewing and the Knicks moved closer to a mutual destiny.
Yeah, I really didn't get nervous until it got down to the last 3. And then all of a sudden, boy, I started sweating. I said, you know, my God, we got a chance.
With 2 teams remaining, Ewing would either be a Knick or an Indiana Pacer.
I was like, let it be New York.
The second pick in the 1985 NBA draft goes to the Indiana Pacers.
Basketball is back in New York City, my friends.
In Ewing, Knick fans saw a hero to revive their once proud franchise and quickly thrust him into the New York spotlight, long before he took the court.
He's going to take us to the championship in New York.
They see Patrick Ewing, the star of the Big East, come into New York, and yeah, they expected a championship right away.
His much-anticipated professional debut was the hottest ticket in town, and it was only fitting that it came against Moses Malone, the league's most dominant center.
Third year. Misses, and Ewing says hello to the NBA. Moses just got introduced to Patrick Ewing.
Somebody shot the ball, came over his back and got the dunk. You know, that was like, Patrick Ewing era has begun. Then Moses kicked my butt.
It was to be the first of many lessons Ewing would be taught that season, as he would find for the first time that he was unable to dominate at will.
So it looks like a frustrating evening building here for Patrick.
Though he would manage to win Rookie of the Year, talk of a championship in New York had halted, as the Knicks would once again finish in last place.
Oh, it was rough. I mean, my rookie year, we won 23 games. I got hurt. They were booing us.
In his second year, the Knicks would win only 24 games, as Ewing would once again fall prey to injuries and inflated expectations.
He'd won on every level, and people expect you to come in and turn the franchise around right away. Well, basketball is a team game, and one person can't do it by himself. And the first couple of years, he had some injuries. The fans got down on him a little bit.
I remember one time we had a Patrick Ewing poster night, and I had been hurt, and I came back for that game, and I had a bad game. I remember people ripping the poster up, throwing it on the floor. It was rough. It was rough.
But even at the low point of his 2-year pro career, Ewing's confidence remained unshaken.
I felt bad for him, and when I finished my post-game remarks, I walked over and I put my arm around him and I said, "Are you doing okay?" And he looked over and
like he always did, and he said, I'm fine. You know, and I walked away from him that night thinking this guy's going to be great.
Though Patrick remained hopeful, New York fans bordered on despair. And in the anguish of their fallen expectations, they looked to Ewing for an answer. But instead of responding with colorful quips or dramatic statements, he answered in the way he knew best, with stoic determination.
You're not going to change people's perception of you. You know, I'm intense, I'm focused, and I have something that I set out to do, and I'm going out to do it.
For Patrick Ewing, it was a heartbreaking defeat in 1994, losing in the 7th game of the NBA Finals. But the Knicks remained one of the league's top teams, and the following year they were right back in the conference finals against the Pacers. After falling behind 3-1, New York made a dramatic comeback and won Game 6 in Indiana to even the series. Game 7 back home at the Garden, and before that contest, Patrick sat down with Peter Vesey.
A dramatic victory for the New York Knicks here at Market Square Arena.
Patrick, everybody had you guys put to sleep by now. How have you been able to come back?
Our backs were against the wall, and you know we seem to sometimes play better when our backs are against the wall, and that's what we did. You know, it's not over. All we did was pick ourselves up off the canvas, and now we just got to go ahead and finish it.
Is this Knicks team, is it a team that overachieves, or does it underachieve? I can't figure it out.
I mean, sometimes we underachieve, but you know, by not getting the job done, staying mentally focused. But I think that our best ball is yet to come. We've overcome a lot of things this year, and we're just going to move on.
When the last huddle was called in Game 5, what was said in that huddle? You said after the game that you demanded the ball. You wanted the play run for you.
I always want the ball. I mean, I think that's what they pay me for, to take the last shot.
I interviewed Jerry West the other day and also Michael Jordan, and both of them say that they're rooting for you to win a championship. Does that make you feel good?
I knew Michael was rooting for me, especially last year. You know, we spoke a couple of times. He told me that, you know, this is my year to go ahead and get it done. Unfortunately, I didn't get it done. He told me that at the beginning of this year, but then he came back, so I know he took it back. But, you know, Michael's, you know, I was kind of rooting for them also, but they didn't get it done, and, you know, I think it's my turn.
Do you think he was rooting for you during the Bulls series last year?
No, I don't think.
I think he was.
He might have been. No, but I'm not going to put that on him.
Patrick, does it ever go through your mind, especially when you were down 3-1, that this could be the last chance that you have to win a title?
No.
That you might be judged on the fact that you didn't win an NBA title?
No, you know, I'm always judged. People always judge me for one reason or another. But
judged or misjudged?
Either one. But I don't worry about, you know, what people think about me. In my heart, I knew we was going to come back. I feel that we're a better team than Indiana. You know, if I don't get the opportunity to win the championship, I'll be disappointed that I don't win it, but I had an outstanding career.
Do you think your coach will be back next year?
I really don't know. You know, I've been I've been thinking about that, but I haven't asked him, and I think Pat's an outstanding coach, and I'd love to see him back here.
In the end, what's going to separate you from the Pacers? Is it going to be an inadvertent whistle, just a walking call that's not called?
First of all, that wasn't a walk.
But you're right, it was 2 walks.
No, it wasn't a walk. But first of all, I think the thing that's going to separate is, you know, is whoever believes in themselves and one another the most. And, you know, I feel that, you know, we're going to be the team that get it done. Like I said, I think we're a better team. And, you know, we have a big heart, and we're just going to go out there and show everybody.
In that Game 7, the Knicks would fall just short as Patrick missed a finger roll at the buzzer that would have tied it. As the years went on, injuries began taking their toll on Ewing, including sore knees, a broken wrist, and a torn Achilles tendon. But he continued his stellar play and kept the Knicks in contention, despite a new challenge from Miami. Patrick looks back at that heated rivalry when overtime continues.
It was like, you know, playing against one another in practice. The only difference is, you know, we had Knick uniform on and they had.
After years of battling Michael Jordan and Reggie Miller, Patrick Ewing found himself facing a new rival, the Miami Heat. Beginning in 1997, the Knicks and Heat met 4 straight years in the playoffs, and all 4 times it came down to a deciding game, creating the NBA's most intense rivalry. Adding some spice was the fact that Ewing was facing his former coach, Pat Riley, and his good friend, Alonzo Mourning. In this interview from 2002, Patrick reflects on those classic battles with Miami.
Naturally, when you have 2 teams that play similar styles of basketball, there's going to be some banging, bumping, scratching, clawing in the paint type games.
Rebound, P.J. Brown. Kicked and picked up by Weatherspoon. Knocked away by Childs. Players all over the floor. Look at the hustle.
Some heated contests, and whenever those teams play each other, it was always, it was always drama. It was always intense. It was some great games. Even though Pat left, we still played the same style ball. Jeff Van Gundy's a Pat Riley disciple. As a matter of fact, when Ross first went to Miami and Jeff first took over, a lot of the plays that we ran, were the same plays. We were basically like, playing against one another in practice. The only difference is, we had Knick uniform on and they had Heat uniform on.
An ugly melee underneath Miami's basket.
With the bench cleared, some of us came off the bench, some of us didn't. I stepped on the court for a sec, stepped back, was suspended. Unfortunately, wasn't able to play game 6. They beat us game 6. Some of us weren't able to play game 7. And unfortunately, they were able to beat us that game. It was frustrating because that was a year that we could have beaten the Bulls and gotten to the finals and anything could have happened.
Larry Johnson and Mourning have at each other.
Whatever the reason, LJ and Alonzo, they don't like each other, so whenever they play each other, it's just like all out war.
Someone's on the bottom of that pile. Jeff Van Gundy is on the bottom of the pile.
Fight breaks out, and to see Jeff, trying to tackle Alonzo, slide down and holding on to his legs for dear life, it's just funny. We ran a play that we always run. I think it was a triangle play. He popped open and hit a runner. The ball seemed like it bounced on one side of the basket, bounced on the other side, and then trickled in. I guess it was payback for some of the other times that the roles were reversed. We're all trying to get the job done. We do what we can to help our team to win. It's a lot of fun. I relive those games sometimes in my mind. That's what basketball is all about. That's what the NBA is all about. The team play, just playing, having fun. I enjoyed every minute of it. And I'm glad that the Knicks came out on top most of the time.
After beating the Heat in 2000, the Knicks lost in the conference finals, and that would mark the end of Patrick Ewing's great run in New York. He spent his final 2 seasons with Seattle and Orlando before retiring in 2002 to become an assistant coach with the Wizards. Patrick was the Knicks' all-time leader in just about every category, including scoring and rebounding. In 2003, the team honored him by retiring his jersey, and we leave you with a look at that ceremony. That's it for this edition of Overtime. For NBA TV, I'm Mark Morgan.
Now, Madison Square Garden and New York City, before he heads over to raise the banner, let's hear from Patrick Ewing.
Thank you, Marv.
all these guys right here, you know, they've all made bets to see that if I was going to cry tonight. Even though I may not shed a tear, you know, you just don't know the joy that I feel inside. I've been 15 years here in New York, 15 years playing, that is, but I've never left, even though, you know, I moved on to other teams and other walks of life. I've never left. I'm always a New Yorker. You know, I first would like to thank all you fans. You know, we've had our ups and our downs. Now, you know, we've had our ups and our downs. But I think you know, y'all have definitely showed me that you appreciated everything that I brought to the table every night. You know, if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't want to play nowhere but in New York for you guys. I also want to thank all these guys for showing up. You know, my friends, the guys that I played against, you know, I think they showed me that they appreciated also everything that I've done, that they took time out of their schedule to show up. But, you know, you guys don't know how great it feels to be here tonight, to raise my jersey, put my jersey in the rafters with all these great guys. But I just want to tell y'all thank you very much for all the support that y'all given me through my whole time here and afterwards, because no matter where I go, I can't get away from New York, because you guys are everywhere. Y'all are everywhere. You always come up to me and let me know that y'all appreciate me. I see Spike over here in the crowd. I remember when I first came, Spike, your seat was way up the top when I first came here. Look where you are now. but thank you very much for bestowing this on me. I really appreciate it. And thank you very much for all the support that you gave, not only me, but the rest of my teammates. I always will be a Knick, always will be a New Yorker. Thank you very much.